What happened to the Religious Discrimination Bill? In the last video, we explained why Australia needs a Religious Discrimination Bill, or RDB, because people are not properly protected from religious discrimination in our laws. And so, in late 2021, the federal government introduced an RDB into Parliament. The bill received bipartisan support when it was examined by two separate parliamentary committees, both recommending it to be passed with minor changes. And on the 10th of February 2022, the RDB passed the lower house by 90 votes to 6, receiving near unanimous support from the government and the opposition. And then the bill was suddenly withdrawn by the government before proceeding to the upper house. Why did the government withdraw its own bill? The RDB was shelved by the government when 5 rebel Liberal MPs crossed the floor to support a Labor-backed change to another Act of Parliament, the Sex Discrimination Act, or the SDA. This amendment repealed a section of the SDA which allowed faith-based schools to operate in accordance with their beliefs. Without the protection of that section, faith-based schools could be sued for teaching their religious beliefs about sexuality, marriage, and gender. They could be sued for having sensible policies, like requiring a biological male student who identified as female to use a unisex change room rather than a communal female change room, and not to engage in girls' sports if that unfairly disadvantaged girls or increased their risk of injury. The amendment by Labor and the rebel Liberals would have prevented schools from caring for students questioning their gender identity in accordance with the school's religious beliefs. Pastoral care of students in these situations requires careful discernment, as the ethical and medical implications of young people changing their bodies to fit a perceived gender identity are widely contested. Any sensible change to this law, which was brought in by Labor in 2013, requires extensive analysis and consultation, which was why the issue had been referred to a separate independent inquiry. Instead, this amendment to the SDA was rushed through the lower house by Labor and the rebel Liberals with no public consultation or consideration of how such complex issues can best be handled. Faced with the prospect of the proposed amendment to the SDA passing in the upper house with the help of Labor, the Greens, and rebel coalition senators, the government chose to withdraw the RDB. In short, the RDB, which is about religious discrimination, was held hostage by rushed changes to the SDA, which were based on several false claims regarding the contentious issues of sexuality and gender identity. Check out our next video to understand the claims of opponents of the RDB and why they are misleading. The RDB is about giving every Australian a fair go in living out what's important to them and their communities. What can you do in support of it? Share this video to raise awareness. Contact your MPs and senators to tell them that you want a robust RDB, not watered down by amendments and without ill-conceived amendments to the Sex Discrimination Act. Go to these sites to understand more about the recorded cases of religious discrimination in Australia. And head to i4cs.com.au for more information about these laws.